Hello and welcome to our service of mostly readings for Good Friday, April the 7th, 2023. My name is Susan Sheppard and I serve the pastoral charges of Bell Island and Portugal Cove, as well as St. James here in Newfoundland and Labrador. We'd like to acknowledge that we live and worship and work on the historical lands of the Beothuk people and Mi'kmaq people of the island and the Inuit people of Labrador. We also endeavor to make this a safe time and place for all people to worship, regardless of race, creed, age, ability, cultural background, nationality, economic status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Now let us worship. Gather round. I have a story to tell, of one who reached inside himself and took a handful of love like a pile of stardust and said, "This is for you. It is all you need. It is all you will ever need. There is enough here to change the whole world. Take it." Many laughed at him, mocked him, and ignored the invitation. But some dared to take it, and those who did noticed something about this love. They found they could do what the gift giver could do. They could stand with the lost, welcome the traveler, eat with the hungry. They found themselves doing what the man first did to them, give something of themselves to others. They became like the man, offering themselves, and as they offered themselves, others took the invitation. And many still do, and many still trust. It is enough to change the whole world. We're going to have one hymn today, and we're going to sing it throughout the video. It's number 73, "Oh God, Why Are You Silent?" from More Voices. Oh God, why are you silent? I cannot hear your voice. The proud and strong and violent all claim you and rejoice. You promised you would hold me with tenderness and care. Draw near, O love, and fold me, and ease the pain I bear. Now, whether you take what is written in the Bible as fact, metaphor, myth, or story, listen to these words now for the meaning they hold for you on this day. And our first reading comes from the Gospel of Matthew 27, verses 11 through 26. Jesus was placed before the governor, who questioned him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "If you say so." But then the accusations rained down hot and heavy from the high priests and the religious leaders. He said nothing. Pilate asked him, "Do you hear that long list of accusations? Aren't you going to say something?" Jesus kept silent, not a word from his mouth. The governor was impressed, really impressed. It was an old custom during the feast for the governor to pardon a single prisoner named by the crowd. At the time, they had the infamous Jesus Barabbas in prison. With the crowd before him, Pilate said, "Which prisoner do you want me to pardon? Jesus Barabbas or Jesus, this so-called Christ?" He knew it was through sheer spite that they had turned Jesus over to him. While the court was still in session, Pilate's wife sent him a message. "Don't get mixed up in judging this noble man. I've just been through a long and troubled night because of a dream about him." Meanwhile, the high priest and the religious leaders had talked the crowd into asking for the pardon of Barabbas and the execution of Jesus. The governor asked, Which of the two do you want me to pardon?" They said, "Barabbas." "Then what do I do with Jesus, the so-called Christ?" They all shouted, "Nail him to the cross." He objected, "But for what crime?" They yelled the louder, "Nail him to the cross." When Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere and that the riot was imminent, he took a basin of water and washed his hands in full sight of the crowd, saying, "I'm washing my hands of responsibility for this man's death. From now on, it's in your hands. You're the judge and jury." The crowd answered, "We'll take the blame, we and our children after us." Then he pardoned Barabbas, but he had Jesus whipped and then handed over for crucifixion. Now lost within my grieving, I fall and lose my way. My fragile, faint believing so swiftly swept away. O God of pain and sorrow, my compass and my guide, I cannot face the morrow without you by my side. Matthew 27, verses 27 through 56. The soldiers assigned to the governor took Jesus into the governor's palace and got the entire brigade together for some fun. They stripped him and dressed him in a red robe. They plaited a crown from the branches of a thorn bush and set it on his head. They put a stick in his right hand for a scepter. Then they knelt before him in mocking reverence. "Bravo, King of the Jews," they said, "bravo." Then they spit on him and hit him on the head with a stick. When they had had their fun, they took off the robe and put on his own clothes. Then they proceeded out to the crucifixion. Along the way, they came upon a man from Cyrene named Simon and made him carry Jesus' cross. Arriving at Golgotha, the place they call Skull Hill, they offered him a mild painkiller, a mixture of wine and myrrh. But when he tasted it, he wouldn't drink it. After they had finished nailing him to the cross and were waiting for him to die, they killed time by throwing dice for his clothes. Above his head they had posted the criminal charge against him. "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." Along with him were also crucified two criminals, one on his right and the other on his left. People passing along the road jeered, shaking their heads in mock lament. "You bragged that you could tear down the temple and then rebuild it in 3 days. So show us your stuff. Save yourself. If you're really God's son, come down off that cross." The high priest, along with the religious scholars and leaders, were right there, mixing it up with the rest of them, having a great time poking fun at him. "He saved others. He can't save himself. King of Israel, is he? Then let him get down from that cross. We'll all become believers then. He was so sure of God. Well, let him rescue his son now, if he wants him. Did he claim to be God's son? Didn't he?" Even the two criminals crucified next to him joined in the mockery. From noon to 3, the whole earth was dark. Around mid-afternoon, Jesus groaned out from the depths, crying loudly, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you abandoned me?" Some of the bystanders who heard him said, "He's calling for Elijah." One of them ran and got a sponge soaked in sour wine and lifted it on a stick so he could drink. The others joked, Don't be in such a hurry. Let's see if Elijah comes and saves him." But Jesus cried again, out loud, breathed his last. At that moment, the temple curtain was ripped in two from top to bottom. There was an earthquake, and rocks were split in pieces. What's more, tombs were opened up, and many bodies of believers asleep in their graves were raised. After Jesus' resurrection, they left the tombs, entered the holy city, and appeared to many. The captain of the guard and those with him, when they saw the earthquake and everything else that was happening, were scared to death. They said, "This has to be the Son of God." There were also quite a few women watching from a distance, women who had followed Jesus from Galilee in order to serve him. Among them were Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of the Zebedee brothers. My hope lies bruised and battered, my wounded heart is torn, my spirit spent and shattered by life's relentless storm. Will you not bend to hear me, my cries from deep within? Have you no word to cheer me when night is closing in? Matthew 27, verses 56 to 66. Late in the afternoon, a wealthy man from Arimathea, a disciple of Jesus, arrived. His name was Joseph. He went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate granted his request. Joseph took the body and wrapped it in clean linens, put it in his own tomb, a new tomb only recently cut into the rock, and rolled a large stone across the entrance. Then he went off. But Mary Magdalene and the other Mary stayed, sitting in plain view of the tomb. After sundown, the high priest and Pharisees arranged a meeting with Pilate. They said, "Sir, we just remembered that liar announced while he was still alive, 'After 3 days I will be raised.' We've got to get that tomb sealed until the 3rd day. There's a good chance his disciples will come and steal the corpse and then go around saying he's risen from the dead. Then we'll be worse off than before, the final deceit surpassing the first." Pilate told them, "You will have a guard. Go ahead and secure it the best you can." So they went out and secured the tomb, sealing the stone and posting guards. May these words help us to learn from the past and listen for God's word today. Through endless nights of weeping, through weary days of grief, my heart is in your keeping, my comfort, my relief. Come share my tears and sadness, come suffer in my pain. Oh, bring me home to gladness, restore my hope again. And let us pray. Now we know all is grace, all is gift. You give us all good things, life and love, daily bread and water that quenches our thirst, friends and faith. Most of all, in Jesus, you meet us with a love that will never let us go. You utter words of mercy and forgiveness that override the hurts and heal our brokenness. You offer new beginnings where we had expected only dead ends. We give you thanks and praise for the mystery of your suffering love that gives us life. We give you thanks and praise that you know our weakness and heal our prayers. We give you thanks and praise that all our dying and living is held in your good keeping. Now we know all is grace, all is gift, and we give you thanks and praise. Amen. May pain draw forth compassion, let wisdom rise from laws. O take my heart and fashion the image of your cross. Then may I know your healing through healing that I share. Your grace and love revealing, your tenderness and care. And to end, I'll read a poem. It's called Good Friday, with an unknown author. Jesus, Prince of Peace, humble and riding on a donkey. Jesus, disturber of the peace, you upset bad religion when it gets in the way of God. Jesus, upsetter of the self-righteous, you turn questions on their head, offering no instant answers, but showing the way. Jesus, lover of the lost, you say forgive when we want to shout condemn. Jesus, host at the table, you share your best, even in the face of our worst. Jesus, Savior of the world, yes, even the world which wants you until it meets you. So go now and contemplate what you believe. Contemplate and remember, and return to the tomb on Sunday.